I'm here, as some people might recognize it, a few hundred yards away from Ground Zero for the incubator for the Green New Deal. That's Boston University right behind me. We've had a hell of a trip, especially the last couple of weeks, details of which I'm not going to go through. What I wanted to say was that it was a while ago that I started to get the idea that, well, we really need to come up with some kind of a critique of Marxism and Leninism and Maoism and what those idiots did with cultural Marxism, the American Marxists. Basically, it's all Bolshevism is what it boils down to. The difference between Bolshevism and utopian Marxism is the use of armed force, essentially, and all kinds of sleazy tactics to bring socialism to the masses. In other words, to keep the central government authority in power. Anyway, a couple of months ago, Kevin Hassett from the Council of Economic Advisors had his people publish, I guess they had started the work before, similarly, piece on socialism and what it actually meant. But it was an economic overview. My basic perspective on Marxism began with just the precept that Marxism supplants religion and assumes that everything boils down to money and materialism. It's not what they say. And Marxism totally discounts the altruism that comes from religious persuasion. So, in other words, you look at the amounts of time and money that volunteers spend on various things in the U.S. Marxism ignores it because it doesn't understand the issue at all. Probably Marxists themselves think that volunteers are stupid, except for lip service volunteers who, go spend an hour and claim to spend a lifetime doing the work. Anyway, we're putting together a critique. I decided that, using the Council of Economic Advisors attempt to introduce some discussion of socialism/Marxism into the public debate, instead of just keeping it in universities and the halls of the Democratic Bolshevik wing of the mainly the U.S. House of Representatives, but there's some of it in the Senate too, obviously. If you looked at the Kavanaugh hearing, for example, and how that was run, that infiltrated the Senate. There's a childish aspect to it, and you could see that in the House clearly years ago, and now even more so than ever. Anyway, I wanted to put together a taxonomic look at Marxism, and then I realized that, the scope of this is beyond my ability to do in the current circumstances I find myself in. So it was a job for my invisible staff somewhere to start to put the taxonomy together, put the papers together, get all the evidence together, and I'd help kind of come up with the nodal points on the taxonomy. And that's essentially what these collection of placeholder videos are. Even if you look at a flat structure, for example, just take, Marxism, the top node, and then you have all of its 15 or so elements to it, and start talking about it that way. That's pretty powerful, even though it's a rotten taxonomy. We're actually trying to get the taxonomy right. And I can think of no better place to be as we discuss this, given current events, than Ground Zero for the Green New Deal, courtesy of another genius from Massachusetts, Senator Ed Mackey, who's sure that a coded message to me couldn't have been a coded message because it said 1600 on it when we stood in front of the old State House. And don't forget Pocahontas. Oh, the People's Republic of Massachusetts was never so wacko. This is my hometown. I kind of resent what's happened to it. Anyway, you all have a nice day.